get started here. I spent several years of my life, in different different situations. The first and foremost thing I've ever experienced was homelessness, and it's scary. Um, it's a very scary situation to be in. For me, it wasn't due to drugs or anything like that. It was basically from being evicted out of housing because I wasn't able to afford to pay the rent. Uh, and the lease forbade me from being able to the sublease, so I couldn't rent out rooms to help me cover the rent. Or come up with other creative means to pay the bills. So I ended up going being evicted, because I made too much to be put onto a program, or I didn't qualify for the program because the program wasn't available to sign up for, because they were maxed out, because they only have a small window, and they only have so many vouchers to give, and being a single male, they prioritize to families, which is a given. I mean, it is what it is. Um, so with that little bit of information said and given out, I'd like to go into my idea and discuss the idea. Uh, this is something I've been working on for about 2 years, and I think it's time to share to the world, what my idea is, and hopefully, it can gain traction, because I really like to see this come into fruition, and see this this approach to be utilized. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay. Well, I'm calling it combating homelessness holistically. And combating it from a holistic approach. Uh, the homeless endemic in the U.S. From 2018 numbers, there are approximately 500,000 people in the United States that are homeless today, or from 2018 anyway. It's probably much more now due to the pandemic and another issues. But homeless increased by 0.3% overall between 2017 and 2018. It's not a decrease; it's an increase. And we had 25% of people experience a pattern of homelessness. Approximately 40,000 people are homeless vets. Another 40,000 are homeless youth below the age of 25. In this presentation, we talk about the statistics of homelessness. What who we are, the causes of homelessness, combating the causes, professional positions and volunteer positions. What causes homelessness? A change of income, right? You're making set income of, say, 80,000 a year. They're just throwing out numbers, and then all of a sudden, you're making 20,000 a year. Big change of income, but you still have the expenses that you have to pay. The mortgage or the rent, and all the utilities and your other bills and your other expenses. It's a big change. It's a big change to go from 80 to 20. It's even bigger to go from 80 to 10. And it happens a lot. Addiction. There are many kinds of addictions out there, and an addiction is it's a big contributing factor to homelessness. You have the lack of affordable housing. Where I live in New Jersey, rents are going up, and they are and they're considerably expensive. A 2-bedroom apartment goes for around $1,200 a month. One bedroom is even in the $1,200 a month range. You don't see rentals for anything under 1,000 anymore, and it's difficult to find anything affordable. When you're making $12,000 a year and rents 15,000, the numbers don't mesh. They don't match up. Joblessness. We're especially now, we're in a situation where we have high unemployment, and we have a lack of jobs that are available, mostly because of workplaces being shut down, and uh, and and it's and it's going to get worse before it gets better. Mental health. Okay, you have people that suffer from all sorts of mental health conditions, and who are unable to find proper employment, and let alone being able to manage their own bills, or manage their own money, let alone knowing how to navigate the systems that are in place to help them. And not knowing where to go to get the help, or going to the wrong places for help, and state social workers unable to provide the assistance because they don't have the patience to deal with the mentally ill. So people with mental health conditions, they're stuck on the street, not able to get the assistance and help that they need. Elderly, people who are on fixed incomes, that are that were put in positions where they aren't able to afford to live in their homes, because they had to pay for major medical bills, or any other situation, and now they're stuck facing living on the streets. The disabled, people who were who aren't able to perform a regular daily function. you know, um, having a physical disability, it's difficult to find employment, and it's difficult to maintain employment. Broken home, right? You have people that you have kids that are raising themselves because their mom and dad are busy working, or they don't have a mom and dad, and their siblings are raising them, and they're running under the radar because they're afraid of being caught by DPS or DIFUS, and so you have kids trying to survive pregnancy, right? You have parents and families that look down on their kids for getting pregnant, and so they kick their kids out, or their daughters are so scared to go to their parents to say, hey, listen, I'm pregnant, and they run away, and they're scared to face their families, so they're so they're stuck living on the streets. A choice to live a free life, right? You have people that actually say, hey, you know what? I don't need this material stuff, so I'm going to just go and live out in the woods in a tent. So you have people that make that choice. And they and they're somewhat happy until until winter comes, and they're cold, and they're stuck. And some people have just given up hope because their situation is just dire, and they don't see a way out. They tried the shelters, and their stuff was and what little belongings they had were stolen, or they were injured, or in a shelter, and they don't want to go to the shelter because the shelter is not really a great place to be. And that's the situation that people find themselves in. And that's what causes homelessness. Addiction, right? You have drugs, alcohol, gambling. Between drugs, alcohol, and gambling, people lose themselves. They lose their loved ones. They lose everything. And they choose these addictions. There's also food addictions, and even looking at the food addictions, with the food addiction, you end up getting bigger and bigger until you can't walk anymore, and you end up with health problems, and you can't work, and you end up disabled, and you end up losing your house and losing everything. And there's help there, but it takes people to show hard love, to show where the help is. Change of income, right? Divorce, separation. You're married, you're making combined income of $150,000 a year. You have the nice house, you have the nice cars, you're you're building, you built a nest egg between you and your, between you and your spouse. You're able to afford to take care of the kids. Difference is, you're making 25,000, your spouse is making 125,000. You get divorced. What happens? You're now relying on your income of 25,000, and maybe if you're able to get it situated, you're receiving spousal support. Um, so but the issue is, even with that, making 30,000 a year, you're barely able to afford rent, utilities, and your car payment. Job change, right? Going from a job that pays 75,000 a year to a job that pays 40,000 a year. Big change in income there. But you're no longer able to afford your house. A company downsized, and you're making 75,000 a year. Your employer downsized. The only job you can get is a job making minimum wage. So now you're making 14,000 a year, and you're struggling to make ends meet on an income that they used to making for 75,000. You still have your house, you still have your utilities, and you have to make all that work. Demotion in a job. Your job, instead of terminating you, they demoted you and reduced your pay. Again, you're stuck with a with a big income change. So what happens? You start cutting corners. Along with the demotion, a company says, hey, you know what? We can't afford to pay you anymore. We have to cut everybody's salaries down. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to keep the doors open any longer. So we have to cut your pay. So they cut your pay by 30%. What happens with a 30% cut in your pay? You're going to go from making 70,000 before taxes to 40,000 before taxes. That's $30,000 a year lost. It's a big hit. Unemployment, right? You lose your job, you collect unemployment. That this has happened in the past year. States shuttered places, your workplace, and you were stuck collecting unemployment. And what happened? Okay, in some states, your unemployment is 50% of your income. In other states, it taps out at $200 a week. If you're making $1,000 a week and you're getting $200 a week, and that $200 a week is also taxed. So you're bringing home far less than what you're used to bringing home, and you still have to pay the mortgage. You still have to pay pay utilities. You still have to eat. You still have to pay all these bills, and on what? $200 based off an income of $1,000 a week. Some of these state laws, in my opinion, are draconian, but it's still a way to lose your income. That's why a path to homelessness. Temporary permanent disability, right? You end up with cancer. You end up with you end up losing your hands, or you end up with back injuries. Either at work or at home. If it happens at work, and thank God you have workers' comp, but it's still 60% of your income. So you're losing 40%. You're even if it's 80% of your income. In some states it's 80% of your income. If it's 80% of your income, you're still losing 20% of your income. And it's and you you have to make do with the changes in the income levels, right? Loss of job, and or jobs. Again, it's a change of income. With loss of a job, you get new employment, and you end up having less pay. You have to choose between working, putting food on the table, and having someone take care of the kids, and you have to pay to have those costs paid, or you're the sole caretaker of your parent, and your parent is in need of attending adult care, like dropping your parent off at daycare, right? And those are added costs and expenses. You know, you can't afford to send your parent to a nursing home, or you don't want to send your parent to a nursing home. Because you want your parent with you. Same thing with your children. You got to take care of your children, and if you can't take care of your children while you're working, you have to pay for childcare, and it's expensive. So a good chunk of your pay is going to childcare and parent care costs. Another cause of homelessness is housing challenges, right? Evictions, being evicted. You can be evicted if your landlord wants to move back into the house. They can evict you out of the place where you're living, so your landlord can live there as their primary source of residence. No calls on your part. But if you can't find a place fast enough, the landlord can take you to court, evict you, and once that eviction's on your record, it's still on your record as an eviction. It doesn't matter on the cause or the reason. You still have that eviction, and that eviction hurts you. You can't rent anywhere else. Higher tax rates, right? Your income tax goes up, your property tax goes up. You can no longer afford, what you were paying before for your mortgage or your rent because the higher tax rates, your price, your property tax goes up, rent goes up, and what you were able to afford, you can no longer afford. Increased rental prices, like I said, every year, in non-subsidized and non-rent controlled environments, the landlord can set whatever they want to set the rent to the next year. At the end of the lease, if your landlord doesn't want you there, they can jack the rent up, 500% if they wanted to, and knowing that you can't afford it, you'll move. There's all sorts of reasons to have challenging in housing. Security deposits, right? You got to make that security deposit. If the landlord is unscrupulous, and they find any reason not to give you a security deposit, they'll keep it, and you got to come up with another security deposit to move into another place, and that's difficult to hit. Bad credit, you have poor credit. Doesn't matter if you're paying your rent on time every month, but you ignored your other bills, but you still made that payment for your rent and your mortgage. But because your credit's bad, you're not going to be able to get into another place. Bankruptcy, right? That goes along with bad credit. You go bankrupt. You're not going to find housing. Joblessness, major cause of homelessness, right? Your employer went out of business, or you went out of business. Your employer went and relocated, and you had to stay because of roots. You have visitation with your children every weekend, and you want to maintain that relationship with your children, and you have to stay in state, so you have to find a new position. And in the meantime, you're unemployed. Poor job performance, right? You have a lot of stress going on in your life, or you're hurt or whatever, and your job performance drops, so you're terminated. What happens when you terminate? You go back into the cycle of homelessness, of housing insecurity, and and eventually, if things don't get better, you lose your house. Lack of education, big one, right? You have a job, you're in a position where they require a college degree. You don't have a college degree, but you have that position that you held because you worked for it, and you moved up in the company. You have the position. Well, now the company's out of business, and you can't find work in the position you held before. But now you're in a situation where you have too much experience for the entry level positions that you need to work so you can move up. But you don't have the degree, so you can't work in the position that you held. So lack of education, leads to joblessness. Mental health issues, right? Stress can lead to all sorts of mental health conditions. Where you lose your job. And it happens a lot. Physical health issues, right? I'll use myself as an example. I was driving a tractor trailer. I was making great money. I got hurt on the job. Well, my permanent disability rating is, I can't lift more than 10 pounds. And I can't I can't stand for long periods of time. I can't sit for long periods of time. But my response, but my disability rating is 10 pounds, sedentary only. So I can't work the job I was working before, making great money. I got to find other employment, right? A criminal history. Criminal history leads to joblessness. A person served their time in jail, they paid their dues to society, but because they have that criminal background, they're not going to be able to find viable employment. Another one is lack of job skills, right? Having to enter into job retraining and having to qualify with different certain state programs and federal programs. You have to jump through a lot of hoops. And if you don't qualify for those programs, what options are there to receive job retraining? Health issues, right? Health issues. You have physical health issues. You have mental health issues. Some of the physical health issues. Think about it. You can have AIDS. You can have cancer. You could have all sorts of different sicknesses, which prevent you from being able to work, which again causes financial problems, which leads you to eventually living on the streets. Mental health issues, right? I talked to an attorney once. The attorney told me that with autism, it's just not quite mental health. It's more physical health because it's a behavior health issue. So as an autistic, it's difficult to find employment. Because you have a lot of tics that people have to work with, and they don't want to deal with the tics. They don't want to deal with the fact that you're socially awkward. They don't want to deal with the fact that you're you're not able to really communicate your mind as effectively and efficiently as other people want you to communicate. They don't like some of the tics that you have. I was watching an episode of Boston Legal, and there's this character who has autism, and he has his hands on his legs, and he has little quirks, where he walks in a circle before he talks, and he makes beeping and bopping sounds, and he has issues with being socially awkward and not being able to hold proper relationships, right? But he's a brilliant attorney. He is beyond brilliant as an attorney. But because of his social quirks, they seem to to avoid him, and he's always listed as an underdog. But he shows the realism of autism. For high functioning autistics. And I take that to heart, because I'm a high functioning autistic. I've struggled with it my entire life. It's not an easy condition to have. From being from being scared to even hug your own children, because you don't know what's socially acceptable, what isn't socially acceptable, so you're awkward about it. So you're constantly questioning yourself when you hug your children. You hug them because you love them, but you're scared to. You still provide the love and nurturing care for your children. Well, at least I do. But it is a condition. This video is extremely uncomfortable for me. I'm here 27 minutes into the presentation, which I'm sure could have been a lot shorter if I didn't go into these little tangents. But again, with mental health, a schizophrenic, you don't want to be around someone who's bipolar or schizo, right? Bipolar person, one minute they're happy, next minute they're sad, and when they're when they're manic, When they're in a manic state, they get things done, right? They're hyper, they're active, and they're getting things done, and they're moving, and they're rocking and rolling, and they're amazing. And then they get into the depressive states. They don't show up to work. They don't perform as expected. And so they lose their job. It's these issues causes homelessness. Young adults, right? They're orphaned. They have an unstable home environment. They run away because of a fight with parents and guardians. Where do they go? Where do they go when they're on the streets? They'll go couch surfing for a while, but then they'll end up on the streets, right? And then to survive, they'll make poor decisions. They'll go into prostitution. They'll go into drugs. They'll do things just to survive. Pregnancy. We talked. I touched base on the pregnancy issue before. It's heart-wrenching. My oldest daughter is not old enough to have this conversation yet, but when she is, I want to know right away that I love her, and I if she's pregnant or whatever, come to me, talk to me. I'm not going to judge her. I'm there to be her parent and take care of her, and if need be, I'll help take care of her child too. I need her to know that. Because I don't want her on the streets. I love my children. But some parents, they'll take the opposite approach. Lesbian, gay, bi, trans, queer, plus whatever lifestyle choices, right? Having to come out to your parents, telling your parents, hey, listen, I'm gay, or I'm bisexual, or I'm transsexual, or whatever. Going up to your parents and telling them this, and then they say to you, get out of my house. Don't want to see you again. It's a scary proposition to come out of a closet and have this conversation with your parents. And for your parents to say to you, I will disown you if you come out. Or I will not want you in my life if I ever find out you're gay. It's painful for a child. And their parent kicks them out. What do you do? What does a child do? They find ways to survive, and not easy ways to survive either. Not easy ways to survive either. They're on the streets. They're making poor decisions because of survival. This is the most difficult one to combat. A choice to a free life, right? These are people who grew tired of the grind. They grew disenfranchised with society, right? They're totally happy to be homeless. Some of these people needed help and couldn't find it, and they just plain got comfortable with being homeless. And these people exist. You can't provide them the help because they don't want the help, right? They're like, they're very happy with being free, without having a care in the world. How do you combat homelessness if they're happy? That's the question. You'll end up with some people that like that. Okay, what are my ideas to combat these causes? Right? Provide services. Provide housing. Provide support. Provide an education. Provide a system of success. Combating the causes. Okay, now, how do we do this? Seriously, think about it. We're going to go back here. Providing the services needed. I'm going to go into some detail here because I think I should have. Providing services. What services? right? We're actually going to get into the meat and potatoes of this, later on. But there are services available. I'm sorry, not available. This program is able to provide services, through professionals and and be able to connect people with the programs that are available to them. But there's a lot to this. Provide housing, right? We provide housing. How do we provide housing? The idea is great. It's great, and it's further ahead. Providing support, right? So a person's homeless. They're trying to get out of the cycle, and they're trying to figure out a way out of it, right? But there's nobody to turn to. There's no support structure in place to build a solid foundation so they can build a house to live in. It's that simple, right? So we provide that support system. Education. Remember, we talked about lack of education, right? To be able to get the certifications you need. Here's the thing. There's a lot of schools out there, right? They'll take the government money. They won't provide the license. They won't pay for the test. You still have to pay for the test. You still have to pay for the license to get the license you need to be able to do the job that you need to do. But you got the education, but you have no way to pay for the license. It's amazing. Then here you are with this certification from the school. Yes, I completed school. Oh, I need a license. I mean, that's like, bam, you're down on the ground again. It's like, really? I got to the point of going to school. Great, yes. I went to driving school. I completed driving school. But before I can drive on the road, I got to get my permit. $125 for my permit. Where am I going to get that money from for my permit? Oh, guess what? I have my permit. I passed my test. I took all my other tests. My permit is filled with all the check marks for my CDL. This is great. I paid the $125 for my permit. I got all the endorsements. Oh, I need to pay for a license now? Okay, my license is due for renewal next month, and I need to. So I have to renew my license, and now I had to pay out close to $85 for a new license. On top of that, I had to pay for fingerprints. I got to pay for fingerprints for my passenger endorsement. I had to pay for fingerprints for my school bus endorsement. I had to pay for fingerprints for my hazmat endorsement. I need a TWIC. What the heck's a TWIC? I need a TWIC to be able to drive a truck. I got to pay for fingerprints for my TWIC endorsement. For my TWIC card. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I can't afford all this. This is insanity. $85 for the passenger endorsement, $85 for the hazmat. If I go for the school board, the school bus endorsement, it's either going to be passenger or school bus endorsement. You're going to have to pay. So it's still 85 and 85. Now it's another cost for your TWIC. 125 for the TWIC or 128 for the TWIC. So you have 85 for the hazmat, 85 for your for your passenger or school bus endorsement, and $128 for your TWIC. So you got to pay for these additional fingerprints, as well as $85 for your license with all the endorsements on it. And the federal program will give the schools extra money to cover for books and additional expenses. I know of one driving school in the state of New Jersey, in my area anyway, that'll cover those additional expenses so you can drive, so you can get your CDL. The other driving schools, you got to pay for yourself. You got the funding from the state, but guess what? The driving school doesn't cover those additional expenses. So what do? You're so close to your dream, but you're still $300 away from being able to execute it. That's scary. Provide a system of success. You pass your test. You don't have any family. You don't really have any friends. Who do you share your success with? You passed your test. Great. You and your instructor are probably going to be the only two people at the DMV. Maybe two of your classmates are at the DMV. You pass your CDL test. I'm using CDL as an example because I have a CDL. So it's you, your instructor, and maybe two other classmates out there. So there's 4 of you out there. You pass your test. Who do you share your success with? You're homeless. You have, you're involved in our program. You're in our program, so you're living in one of our, in one of our facilities. You're receiving the services from our facilities, but there's a system of success, right? Right. So there is a system here of celebrating your successes. You pass a test in one of your education programs. From the from your social worker to the people to the people that live in the community, to even the to all the professionals working in the facility. They're there to celebrate your success, because your success is their success, right? So you have that community there to to help lift you up and build you up and celebrate your successes with you. This is combating the causes, right? How do we combat the causes? We hire social workers. We hire social workers to be able to provide the support to you, or to the to the client. So say for instance a person isn't quite homeless yet, but they're behind on bills and they need help to help see build a path in the chaos in their life. They can't see the forest from the trees, right? Because they're stuck in the middle. They need someone from the outside to look in and help organize them and put them into the right path. Okay, that's what our social workers are there, as well as to help guide through all the red tape that the government has, and be able to provide all the resources that the government has available, and and get the person onto that track to get them all the help that they need, as well as take the person to our cafeteria, get them something, get them something in their stomach, and help them get into one of the pods and the living quarters, so they have a place to live, with a permanent address. Education, right? And I envision partnering with different educational facilities within the community, within the county. Working working hand in hand with the WIA grant program, and getting people the help that they really need. And other programs as well, right? Work on getting people an education of some sort to be able to get back in the workforce. Food service, right? Think about this. Okay, you found a job. You're working, instead of working 9 to 5 in the morning, you're working 9 to 5 at night. You're going to work at 9 at night. You're coming in at 5 in the morning. Okay, you need breakfast. It's 9 o'clock at night. Okay, most facilities have a cafe. We'll have a soup kitchen or whatever, and it's only available for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or just breakfast, or just lunch, or just dinner. Okay, but there's nothing available for them because they work nights. So what's available for them? Well, I envision a 24/7 cafeteria system. So that if you need food, you have food available, that fits your work schedule, and not the other way around, because these people need to eat as well. Permanent residence, right? Like I said, permanent residence. Like, you don't have a permanent residence, at a shelter. Shelters first come, first serve. Once they're packed. You have nothing. I envision offering permanent residence in the resident pods. Your address is essentially an apartment number at the at the facility. I envision a facility which is all in one facility, right? Okay, everything you need in this facility is there. Okay, from the support services of your social workers to the doctors to the to the to the counselors to the to the behaviorists. They're all there in house, all in one place. Okay, your AA meetings down, is down in an area. Okay, so your anonymous meetings are in the building. Your other programs are all within the building, all within the facility. Everything is there to help you out. Youth programs, again, youth programs within the building. Daycare programs, all within the facility. Healthcare programs, all within the facility. Social workers, right? They provide financial coaching. They provide a resource to access the programs that not only that we offer, but that are offered within the community. They follow up with clients, right? They make sure that the clients are on track on whatever program that they have. They are following up with the clients. They're not relying on the clients to come to them. They're going to the clients. When you have a disability, you're not going up to people and asking for help. You're not following up for yourself, especially if you have a mental health problem. You need the extra help. So the social workers are going to them. They are the client's point of contact. The client is not expected to go and jump through all the hoops. The social worker is expected to jump through the hoops and take the client through the hoops. They ensure the client's needs are met. Education. We offer, I envision offering a GED program. I envision offering job training. I envision offering some of this training on site and off site. I envision offering tutoring for the kids, and even for the adults that are struggling in their job training and their schooling. I envision offering job placement services. Certifications, right? Getting certified. For instance, if you have the intelligence in IT, and you just need to take the test, but you can't afford to take the test. I envision offering the ability to, offering people the ability to have get those tests taken, and getting certified, and offering the tests in the house. Food services, right? Healthy meals. Healthy meals. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. Full service cafeteria available 24/7. See, I put it there. 24/7 cafeteria. 2-hour period for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's just an idea. Or maybe offering breakfast, lunch, and dinner throughout the day, and letting people pick and choose what they really want. Snacks provided throughout the day as well. So basically, cut out the 2-hour thing, cut out the snack thing, and just keep the cafeteria open 24/7, and let people come in and pick and choose what they want. Because I'm gonna tell you something. For breakfast, I want a burger. Why would I want to get breakfast food if I'm not a breakfast food person? Maybe instead, just offering the 24/7 cafeteria and letting people choose what they want. Again, an idea with the 24/7 cafeteria. Instead, it's full service during the day, and then at night, leftovers can be kept in containers for clients seeking help in between meals, and for clients that work night shift. So again, this is just an idea for the 24/7 cafeteria. I'm not 100% sure which direction to go with this. But it's something there that I'm putting in there, But the main thing is, the kitchen run by a paid professional to teach and train the residents, who in turn man the kitchen and cafeteria. Volunteers are also, and outside volunteers are also welcome to assist. But the kitchen being there to give applicable job skills to the residents who have an interest in kitchen management and have an interest in running a kitchen. And giving them the actual experience, so they can get a job in the restaurant industry. This is my idea for the permanent residents. This is exactly what I see. Living quarters are broken up into pods. Remember what I was saying? The resident pods, right? They're broken up into pods consisting of a bedroom, living room, and restroom. And these pods are able to be interconnected. The pods are interconnecting, allowing for families to reside together and provide privacy for the children because of the individual bedrooms, right? So if you're a family of 5, you have a pod set aside for the mom and dad. You have a pod set aside for the boys, and you have a pod set aside for the girls. So you have so you essentially have maximum 3 pods put together to put this to make this manageable. The pods interconnected features are secured by staff to prevent clients from entering into each other's living quarters. And we and I have some ideas on making the pod, the interconnected pods secured. Sleeping areas again, are the idea is sleeping areas are walled off from the living room, to allow for privacy. So essentially you have a 3-room pod. You have the living room, bedroom, and restroom. Well, where's the kitchen? Kitchen is in the cafeteria downstairs. Is in the cafeteria in the main area. There's no need to have a cafeteria in the main facility. Living quarters separated by men, women, and families, right? Because what happens is you end up in a position where a situation where men have no assistance, right? Oh, this is only for women. This is only for families. Men, you're out of luck because you're a male. Well, in our living quarters, I envision a section for men, a section for women, and a section for families. Because you have situations where you have a single father. That goes in the families, right? You have a situation where you have single mothers, families. And then of course you have a situation for men. You have a situation for women. Segregate out the quarters so you have a section for men, women, and families. Youth programs, tutoring programs for kids, right? Cub Scouts, BSA. A great program for kids to build their character, and to and to teach them to become self-reliant. Scouts BSA for boys, right? Again, great leadership program, helps build the basis and a solid structure for the boys. Same thing with the girls. Another solid structure, leadership growth. Venturing BSA again. Build the program up, give it to provide it to the kids. Keep the whole BSA program together. Learning for Life programs, again, another BSA program, Learning for Life, integrate it in. Offering a 24/7 daycare. You have parents that work at night. What are you gonna do? Parent has to work a double shift. Tell them no, you can't make money at night because you have kids at home. We offer 24/7 daycare, and that's not just within the facility, but open to the community. Adult daycare, right? 24/7 for the adults as well. Because you have to work. If you have to work, you have to work. Or even what if you have you're taking care of your parent full time, and you just need a few hours to yourself, but you can't leave your loved one home alone because they'll end up burning the house down or something. So you got to be with your loved one constantly, not just for your parents. Your spouse, right? Your spouse is going senile. I know a lot of people in this situation, and they're stuck at home because there's nobody there to take care of them. So they're stuck in this situation constantly without a break. The adult daycare program is there to give that person a break. Child daycare. You need to take I'll use this as an example as well. Not just for work. Say for instance, you're volunteering in the in the Scout program, right? And you have to go to training for the weekend, and you have no one to take care of the kids. So but you got to go to training. Otherwise, the other kids in the facility are going to be stuck in the are going to be stuck without a trained leader, right? So we offer 24/7 child daycare, and in a situation that benefits the program, we will offer to take care of your kids for the weekend. that for the weekends that you're attending scout training. And believe me, we're going to know about the scout training because it's our it's one of our programs. Or what if you have to work and you have to work a double? What happens at that point? Say for instance you're you're a nurse and you're at work, and and you're told, listen, we're in a situation where we have to work a double shift. So instead of working 8 hours, they got to work 16 hours, or instead of working 10 hours, they got to work 20 hours. What happens to the kids? Well, our daycare program is there to take care of the kids in those situations as well. 24/7, both the adult daycare and the child daycare. Reason? Because people work at night. Or you end up, like I said, in a situation where you got to work a double, or you have a situation where one of our resident volunteers has kids, but they can't stay and take but they got to choose between providing providing volunteer time and one of our key programs, and letting and disappointing all the kids in the program down, or relying on our child daycare program to take care of their kids while they're in training. We offer that opportunity, and then we offer that opportunity by offering the 24/7 daycare program. And again, the programs are available to the community. Say for instance, there's another single parent out there, with another scout unit. They need to go through the training as well. They need to find an affordable daycare program for their kids, or child care program for the kids, so they can attend that training. We're there for it. At an affordable rate. In many cases, free, depending on depending on the sliding scale of income. Right. I foresee people abusing our child and adult daycare programs, but I also see it as a necessity. Because think about it. Okay, even if you make $200,000 a year or whatever, these people may not be managing their money properly, and can be on the verge of homelessness as well. So why are we not going to offer it to everybody? If you abused the program, oh well, at least we know your parents and your either your parent or your significant other is being, or your child is being properly taken care of, and they're safe. Healthcare, right? We offer a healthcare clinic. If you don't have health insurance, fine. We provide the healthcare. Once you gain insurance, we'll be able to bill your insurance company. Otherwise, we don't charge for the healthcare. Psychiatry clinic, again, you need help. We're there to help. Because if you need medication, we're gonna have to get you got to get your medication. I'm gonna use myself as an example. I suffer from high blood pressure. I don't have health insurance and I can't afford to see a doctor. But I need my medication. What do I do? I'm in a situation where I can't afford to see a doctor, but I need my blood pressure meds. What do I do? I'm going to die of high blood pressure, right? Or do I go to the hospital and rely on charity care just to get the pills I need? What a waste of hospital resources. That's what this program's there for. Counseling, right? Gonna need counseling. Can't afford insurance, but you still need the counseling, to keep yourself stable. Substance rehab program, right? Cause of homelessness is addiction. How do we fight addiction? Through our, through substance rehab programs. What if they can't afford it? So they're on the streets, addicted to their drugs and the alcohol and the gambling. They're addicted, so whatever they get from panhandling goes to these substances, because they can't afford to go to rehab. We offer that program. Example staffing ideas. I'm not going to go into this entirely because I really don't know. This is something that has to be hashed out by the executive board. This is just a general idea, so I'm just showing that I thought about it. Okay, budgeted items. I have no idea how much this is going to cost. I know it is going to be in the millions of dollars to get this thing off the ground. Because the building's going to cost money. The technology is going to cost money. The furnishing is going to cost money. The cafeteria is going to cost money. The professional staffing is going to cost money. Yes, professional staffing. Doctors aren't going to volunteer and do it for free. They're going to want to get paid. The social workers aren't going to do it for free. They got to get paid. All this stuff costs money. Attorneys have to be hired and retained. And they're not going to do it for free. They got to get paid. The executive staff, the people running the day-to-day operations won't do it for free. They got to get paid. These people have to get paid. The people in this area right here, fine, I can't even show it because, wait, yeah, I can. These people here all have to get paid, right? All these green areas, they're volunteers or paid, but all these people in the white, they're paid positions. You can't expect someone to volunteer all their time to make this work. You just can't. Majority of the monies, that I foresee raising is being used to pay for professional services and the facilities. How do you get people to schools? How? How do you get people to schools? You need vehicles. You need buses. You need vans. You need vehicles to drive people from point A to point B to get them to their schools and get them where they got to go. You need technology, right? You have to teach people how to use computers. We need computers to operate. We need servers to maintain the databases. We need technology. We have to pay for tech. There's no other choice. Yeah, we can rely on donated computers, but guess what? Donated computer systems. They are going to be too old to operate, to be able to handle what we need to be able to use them for. And two, just like software, hardware also ends up with security issues. And because we're dealing with sensitive medical information, we can't be subject to hardware vulnerabilities that are found regularly in the CPU's instruction sets, etc. Okay, so we have to invest in technology. So yes, we need technology. And these numbers here, they're just guesses. I have no physical idea or no real idea on how much this is going to cost. I'm probably under. The only thing I have a general idea on is the tech. And a general idea on the vehicles. Because we're talking about insurances, we're talking about maintenance, we're talking about having to replace them, and we're talking about needing multiple vehicles. Professional staffing. I mean, how much does a doctor cost? How much does a psychologist cost? How much does a psychiatrist cost? How much do these people cost? Plus their benefits. I'm guessing maybe $3 million a year for the professional staff members. Because on top of having to pay the doctors and the psychologists, etc., okay, we'll also have to pay for their continuing education credits. They have to go to seminars. They have to attend meetings. They have to attend, they have to attend these places. And as their employer, one of the benefits of employment, because they're not going to be paid the same amount that they'd be paid working for a bigger corporation, we got to offer them some perks. And what are some of the perks that we offer? So we still have to pay for it, right? Going back to this, I really don't know how much it'll really cost to pay for the staff. What about the cafeteria costs? How much does it cost to feed the people? How much does it really cost to feed everybody? I don't know. I have no idea what the food costs are going to be. I can guess, but until I sit down with an executive board and figure out what's going on, and and really get a good idea on what these costs are, these are just numbers that are floating in my head. I could be low, I could be high, but I really think I'm lowballing the numbers here. I really do. I love this quote from Maimonides. Give a man to fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. I've covered, what causes homelessness. I covered how we teach people to fish, thus breaking the cycle of homelessness. And I thought that we do it through paid professionals. But this is the way how I envision ending homelessness. This is the way I envision helping people get out of the situation that they're in. Is it doable? I believe so. It's going to cost money. It's money, partnerships, relationships. And all in all, I'm scared. As I discussed, I'm autistic. I have a physical disability. And I'm over here, with this great idea that I want to see come into reality. I want to see these people get the help they need. I will tell you that one of my experiences being homeless, I was driving a tractor trailer. I end up with a extremely high heart rate. I went to the hospital. I called 911. At this point I'm living in my car. I have a great job, but I couldn't find a place to live. I have bad credit. I have evictions on my record. Can't get approval anywhere. So I was living in my car to live within 5 minutes from work because I work long hours. I'm rushed to the hospital. Doctor accused me of being on drugs multiple times. I'm like, listen, I'm not on drugs. Check. Can I go see? I don't take any drugs. Then why are you homeless? Because I don't have good credit. I have evictions on my record. I can't find a place local enough to me to be able to work. I work long hours. I found a room to rent, but because of my crazy hours, I was kicked out after 3 days. I made great money. I made enough to cover rent in my first week. In 1 week of working, I made enough to cover the rent, no problem. Second week would have covered all my other expenses. Third and fourth week was money I could spend on anything I wanted. And that's on a 2-bedroom apartment or a 2-bedroom house. If I wanted a 3-bedroom house, I'd have to work a week and a half. But I worked long hours. I had off on Mondays and Thursdays, and I drove, and I worked a full 14-hour day, 5 days a week, with 2 34-hour resets. But I made great money. I loved my job. The issue was I couldn't pass a background check because I had evictions on my record, and so I had to rent rooms. There were no rooms available near where I worked. I was renting a room for my brother, but because of the long drive and long hours I was working, I fell asleep on behind the wheel of my car, driving home from work, and I found myself on the I can't remember if it was the Ben Franklin or the Wall Woman Bridge. I took both bridges, so it's a toss-up on which bridge I was on. I found myself, I was driving in the right lane. I fell asleep, woke up in the far left lane. I don't know how I didn't hit anybody. I don't know how I didn't end up steering the car to the right and flying off the bridge. At that moment, I decided to rent the room I was looking at in in the next town over from my workplace. Nice little old lady, that I was renting from, but she couldn't stand the fact I was getting home at like 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. Taking a shower right away. I mean, I smelled like diesel. I smelled like gasoline. I mean, I couldn't go to bed smelling like that, so I took a shower. I go to bed. Wake up at like, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Get ready for work. Leave at 3:30. Head to McDonald's. Get something to eat. Go to work. After 3 days of it, she came up to me and she said, "Listen, I can't do this anymore. Here's your security deposit back. Here's your rent back. I want you out after you wake up." And I tell you, as soon as I woke up, she called me on the phone and told me she wanted to show the room and she wanted me out as soon as possible. And I explained to her I'm already packing and I'm working on leaving. So I threw my stuff in the back of my car and I started sleeping at the truck stop. I spent more at that truck stop than I would have if I was renting a place. I ate at the truck stop. I showered at the truck stop. On my days off, I would see my kids. So I wasn't at this truck stop on my days off, but it was embarrassing. Taking my kids to Scouts and living in my car and. It was it was hard. It was very hard. It's something that if I had to, I'd do it again. But I don't want to be in that situation ever again. I really don't. And I can't see other people. Excuse me. I can't see other people go through it either. It's something I have a hard time talking about. I mean, it's it's embarrassing. It's degrading. And people go through it. They go through this, and it's like, how do you help them? What services are available? I mean, it's like, how do you help? And that's what generated the plan that I produced. And now, I don't know where to go with it. Because, I don't want to see anybody else go through what I went through. And if you've never lived in that situation, you don't know what it's like. Sleeping in your car. And then I got used to it, and then I was offered an opportunity to rent somebody's pool house. It was nothing but a shed, and I rented it. I lived there for a year, because I couldn't find anything else. I mean, it's I didn't have a bathroom. I only had a shower in the summer. Before COVID, I was coping. I mean, I paid for a gym membership. I paid for, I paid for a membership to the movie theaters. So I would, go to the theater, buy a ticket, and I'd use the restroom. Well, I mean, I had unlimited tickets, so I would use the restroom, and then I go to the gym, take showers, and and then after COVID, I relied on baby wipes and a commode. That was the worst. But it was better than sleeping in my car. And then my aunt and uncle passed away. And my cousins offered me to move into their house. So I'm currently staying here. And I'm working on on getting this house to be my own. It's a long road, and I'm running up against the clock. I'm seriously up against the clock. I was expecting my my settlement to come in from workers' comp, and that's been delayed due to COVID, but also because of COVID, there's a stay on evictions and foreclosures, but that's at the mercy of the state. So yeah, I'm scared. I'm embarrassed. It is what it is. It's it's a scary situation. But I do the best I can every day, and that's it. But I will say this though. Whatever it takes to get this project off the ground. Looks like I'm willing to sacrifice it because I just put this video out there. That means that if I have to limp my crippled rear end to whatever meeting I have to attend, I'll do it. If I have to drag myself and pull myself on that ground because I can't walk, I'll do it. Because I don't want to see anybody else go through what I went through. So if you have any ideas, any suggestions, leave a comment below. Contact me. Reach out to me. Because this is real. The ideas are there. It's just a matter of executing it. All right. Thank you very much for your time.